A whole bunch of amazing new deals are on their way to the Microsoft Store this week, including major discounts on some of Activision Blizzard's biggest titles. To make sure you don't miss any of the juiciest offers, Bex and I have rounded up just a few of this week's best ones. Let's start with a big old 35% off on one of the biggest games around. Alright, let's kick off with a little FPS game known as Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. You heard of it? Well, if you haven't, it's the sequel to the 2019 reboot of Modern Warfare. Infinity Ward's most recent military shooter tells another thrilling tale about Task Force 141. But if single-player campaigns aren't really your thing, it also continues Call of Duty's tradition of incredible multiplayer, with a huge variety of modes to enjoy and continual updates to make sure that the action always stays fresh. Isn't that right, Bex?
You're right again, Henry. Most recently, Season 3 Reloaded delivered a brand new map set on a remote facility in Spain. Ideal for catching a few rays if you don't mind catching the odd bullet too. Nab this 35% discount on the cross-gen edition of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and you'll be able to enjoy it in its 60 FPS spatial sound supporting goodness right now, or even in 120 FPS when you pick up an Xbox Series X or S further down the line. If you're desperately wanting a character-based online shooter, Activision Blizzard have you covered. In fact, you could say the cavalry's here with Overwatch 2.
Who's that?
It's supposed to be Tracer, you know, from Overwatch.
Sure.
In the sequel to their super successful hero shooter, the developers have made a number of key changes, including making the game itself free to play. You'll now be fighting in teams of 5 rather than 6, making it all the more important that you choose your characters wisely. Do you want to lead the way as a tank, back up your buddies as a support, or focus on dealing some damage?
Well, whatever your style, the Overwatch 2 roster is stacked with vibrant characters, each of whom has their own distinctive skill set for you to master. And with the Hero Pack, now 50% off, you get access to all of the original game's characters, as well as newcomers like Kiriko and Ramatra. Few things are as cool now as they were in the 90s, but Tony Hawk is, and so are his iconic skating games, especially now that the first two have been gorgeously remade. Everything you remembered from these iconic skating games remains intact. The banging soundtrack, the roster of legendary skaters, the range of zany skate parks for you to trick your way across, and the variety of challenging game modes. It's all back, but better.
New songs, new skaters, new online options, and lush new visuals mean that you can skate back down memory lane in style, until you try one spin too many and end up on your posterior. Anyway, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 already packages two of the greatest skating games of all time into one tidy bundle, and now it's 60% off too. But Mr. Hawk isn't the only 90s icon who's had an HD makeover recently, and come to think of it, Spyro's not bad with a skateboard either. The Reignited trilogy brings back all three of Spyro's classic cartoon platforming adventures: Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon. That means 3 games full of wacky themed worlds to explore, dazzling treasures to collect, and hilarious characters to meet. Watch out for that moneybags though, I suspect his business dealings are not entirely legitimate.
The Reignited trilogy gives each game a total visual overhaul that makes Spyro's colourful world shine brighter than ever. So whether you've been a fan since day one, or this is the first you've ever heard about any Purple Dragon, this 65% discount is well worth checking out. And don't worry Bex, no gems required. We'll round out Activision Blizzard's sale with another cartoon platforming icon who's come back with a bang: Crash Bandicoot. Released to celebrate the mischievous marsupial's 25th anniversary, the Crashiversary collection is the perfect blend of past and present. With the Sane trilogy, you can relive all 3 of his classic platforming adventures in glorious high definition. Then you can move on to the long-awaited 4th chapter in his tale, which has Crash and Coco looking slicker than ever in 60 FPS on Xbox Series X and S. And after all that spinning and jumping, you'll have earned a bit of time off. So why not go do some kart racing in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled?
Oh, I'm so in, Henry. Crash & Co have another hilarious looking game lined up for June 20th called Crash Team Rumble, and this brilliant collection is the perfect way to prepare for it, especially now that it's 60% off. Of course, the big question is, are you a Spyro stan or a Crash Bandicoot? Or has some other cartoon critter stolen your heart? Hit the comments to let us know. If you love the dark fantasy spin on the Western genre served up by Weird West, then you should definitely check out the similarly titled and equally eerie Evil West. This third-person actioner tasks players with hunting down vampires all across the American frontier. The game's stylish combat allows you to combine traditional Western weapons like 6-shooters with slightly more unconventional fare like your lightning-fueled gauntlet.
That's right, and the more bad guys you stake, the more you'll be able to upgrade your abilities and gear with a wide range of options that allow you to really tailor the character to your preferred playing style. Basically, cowboy hats and scary monsters remain an undefeated combination, and Evil West delivers plenty of both at a price that's now 35% cheaper. Unsighted is a Metroidvania-style adventure game which takes place in the fallout of an all-out war between mankind and machine. This time, however, you'll be playing as one of the machines. Being an automaton does have its advantages after all. The game's versatile combat system allows you to find and craft computer chips to upgrade your abilities in all sorts of ways, while there's also a ton of different weapons to get your cold, dead hands on.
The downside to life as a robot, or, so I hear anyway, is that your kind slowly devolve into mindless killing machines if they can't get enough of the chemical substance that keeps them sentient.
Sounds a bit like you if you haven't had your morning coffee, Bex.
Right. That means you're going to have some very difficult decisions to make over the course of the game about who to save, bending the story in all sorts of fascinating, heartbreaking ways. But if you're up to it, Unsighted is now 40% off. The kingdom has been overrun by dark forces, and the only one who can save it is a little guy with a sword. Isn't that always the way? Archvale is a skill-based bullet hell RPG which you wander the land battling bad guys and dodging so many projectiles. To fight back, you'll be able to wield a huge variety of weapons with literally hundreds of different bits of gears available through looting and crafting, allowing you to hone in on the fighting style that works for you.
And not dropping any hints in here, Bex, but you could even tag in a buddy to save the day together in local co-op. And thanks to this week's sale, you can do so for 40% off too. So are we going to play then, or? If you feel like getting your hands dirty and learning to work for a living, well, I guess you could just go out and get an actual job. Pfft, boring. You could just play Hard Space Shipbreaker. In this simulation game, you play as a salvager who scours the cosmos in search of abandoned ships. Once you find one, you can use your tools to slice it up into manageable chunks and haul the valuable bits back home for a cash reward.
Be careful though, these ships are procedurally generated and they contain all sorts of hazards. Point that laser cutter in the wrong direction and you could find yourself being electrified, exploded, or even sucked out into the inky black abyss. All of which are things my doctor has told me to avoid. Xbox Series X and S and PC players can grab Hard Space Shipbreaker off of Game Pass now, and it's also 40% off in this week's sale. Henry, the darkest of days are almost upon us as Diablo 4 prepares to unleash its hellish hordes on June the 6th. So, you might want to get some practice in with Diablo 3 first.
Not that bad.
The third entry in this beloved dungeon crawling series gives you 7 classes to choose from as you prepare to hack and slash your way through the forces of darkness.
Witch doctors, wizards, necromancers, and good old barbarians are all on offer. And you can further fine-tune your playstyle with the gear you find laying all over the place. It's incredible how people will leave a perfectly good battle axe just lying around. The Eternal Collection also includes the Reaper of Souls expansion, where you get to dole out a whooping to the Malthael, the Angel of Wisdom. Not such a wise guy now, is he? Pick it up now for 67% off and you'll be truly battle-hardened by the time the 4th game rolls around. Midnight Fight Express seems like the perfect game to end things with a bang and a smash, and whatever that crunchy sound a sledgehammer makes when it connects with a human skull.
Why do you know that?
Don't worry. This slick brawler employs a ludicrously slick combat system that will quickly make you feel like a bona fide action star. Unleash your ever-expanding repertoire of martial arts moves on room after room of thugs and goons, throwing in a bit of odd gunplay here and there to spice things up.
But why stop there? If you try hard enough, just about anything can be a lethal weapon, from chairs and tables to walls and floors, right down to whatever random objects you find lying around. In the right hands, you have no idea just how dangerous a toilet plunger can be. So why not find out by grabbing Midnight Fight Express off of Xbox or PC Game Pass, or using this week's 30% discount. Whether you're looking for something old or something new, this week's sale is absolutely full of top class titles. So be sure to hit the comments to let us know which ones you'll be checking out. Bye!
See ya!